this mean for the competitive HoN scene? We all know the top contenders, but which team should you be on the lookout for? Is Complexity still the team to beat for the HoN Tour qualifiers? And we sit down with Zai and player manager Alex Jang of Trademark Esports in our team spotlight. All of this and more coming at you with HoN Tour Weekly right now.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to HoN Tour Weekly. That is right, you're tuning in to HoNcast.com. We have HoN Tour Weekly, where we'll be discussing really the last week or so of competitive Heroes of New Earth, focusing a lot on HoN Tour, but really competitive Heroes of New Earth in general. Of course, I'm Breaky CPK, as always, joined by the great Ralph Manor. You are a great man, after all.
I am.
I always got to reiterate that. So, but anyways, you are tuning in to HoN Tour Weekly. Gonna have a lot of fun today. Are we, Ralph?
We are. I mean, we got a lot of things to talk about. Of course, HoN Tour has kicked off. We had a couple of little small hiccups in the beginning, but we've really had great success in the last couple of weeks. Yeah. And it's been running really smoothly. We've had a number of great things happening, great matches, great feedback from the community especially. Even if you look at the article on HoNtour.com right now, it's with Ake, who is formerly is playing, bouncing between Dota 2 and, of course, HoN coming back. He had some great things to say about specifically the UI of HoN Tour and how the system works in general. But yeah, we've had great feedback already and more great things to come. Coming up with this weekend with the winners bracket round of 32. Yeah, with this being our debut show here for the HoN Tour Weekly, of course, a big part of it, we're going to kind of once again introduce HoN Tour for those that may still be looking to get more information out of it. But also, we're going to go even a little bit further. We're going to break down a couple of the teams, the top tier teams that, of course, we know, like your Complexity, your Trademark, and whatnot, and then some other teams that you may not know too much about. We'll try our best to give you an idea of who they are and what maybe to expect out of them. All of that, and plus much more to come on top of that. Of course, even the DreamHack group stages were actually just announced previous to the show. So we have breaking news here in that sense, even going to be on HoN Tour Weekly. So that's going to be fun. And some other fun segments, including our top 5 plays of the week. So I know a lot of people are really excited for that to kind of be returning here to HoNcast, and cannot wait to bring that back to the table. So that's kind of a rundown of what to expect in today's show, Trelf. And then even you have a segment later on that people can be excited about. So. I have a really cool segment, guys. It's the start of a number of segments to come this week. It'll be later on in this HoN Tour Weekly, but it's going to be about jungling with a political twist on it. Of course, this being November 6th, after all, here in the United States of America. So, well, I guess it's actually everywhere, now that I think about it. Anyways, so for HoN Tour Weekly here, again, we have plenty to talk about, so really we got to get into it. Can't waste too much time here. So without further ado, our first part here, we're actually going to jump into our team spotlight. We're going to take a look at a little bit more and even sit down with Trademark Esports. Talked about that before. There's the hook from Moon, actually. He might be in a lot of trouble. Zai, one more auto attack. He does get the health potion. It's going to maybe live. Zai,
are you kidding me? Go, look at the aggressive play coming from Zai. The arrow on the page, the call to Valkyrie. The auto attack is going to be enough to leap away from Pika. Just enough to get away. Valkyrie go, the shot, and Zai will take out Pika right there. It's a 2-1 advantage in favor of Zai.
There's a combo though from Zai. One more auto attack from him and he can take it. Zai able to take out Front. The ability to actually just go on auto attack. Auto attack and aggression here coming out from both sides. Power goes up and Zai! Go! Yet again, it's that quick. Enzo in a very big trouble right there. He's going to take a lot of breath in. Oh my God! Enzo's going to die! Enzo's going to die! Annihilation!
It's taking out Complexity. All 5 players by himself. That was a lot of fun, Trev.
It was. I mean, it was pretty epic. It was a lot of fun to watch. I hope that's just the start of a number of series to go. But yes, of course, as you can see, we are being joined by the player manager of TDM, Alex Jang, as well as Zai himself. So how you doing, guys?
Doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're doing terrific. Of course, this is our debut show here with the HoN Tour Weekly, and planning to have a lot of fun today. It's already been pretty solid, and I can't wait to see what the rest of the show brings us. But I'm happy to be joined by you guys. Of course, as you said, Zai, star player, and Alex Jang, the player manager. So, Zai, we'll start with you. How are things in the world of Trademark Esports? How's things going for you right now?
We've been scrimming, or starting scrimming more a lot to prepare for DreamHack. HoN Tour qualifiers are going great. Won every single match so far, so it's all good.
Yeah, as far as like strategies go and everything, I mean, do you feel you guys improving over time right now?
Yeah. We have some strategies we're working on as well, so we're gonna, I don't know, probably show them at DreamHack.
Yeah, so of course saving that for DreamHack. Again, the groups were actually just announced for DreamHack today, so we are going to be breaking that down a little bit later on. But I am curious, what have you seen the groups yet? Actually,
I have.
Okay, what is your take actually on the group stages?
I like the groups. I really do. I think we're going to be able to defeat the teams in our group, probably finish first place in our group, so we can go on and face like the opponent we select in the other group, so we can get the easiest semifinal possible. Yeah.
You've been around, the competitive HoN scene for a while now. You've been on a couple different teams, but it seems like I think it's safe to say Trademark has been your most successful team even. What do you think of actually how's that been for you? How's that ride? How's that journey been for you being with Trademark Esports?
I think it's been the best one so far. I think I've improved the most in Trademark. Our teams improved the most, I think, as well, compared to like Blackfit and Gosu. I feel we have more success in this team as well, so it's going great.
The players getting along and everything. There's no feuds or any drama behind the scenes.
No, not at all.
You can tell us. Okay. Terrell, if you have any questions for Zai?
Actually, yeah, I had a good follow-up question for that. You mentioned, BXF, and you play a much different role now than you did when you were in BXF. If I remember correctly, you were playing more of like a second support, or maybe even just a straight-up support role in BXF. But the suicide role for you in TDM seems to fit you a lot better. When did you decide that was kind of like the better role? Was it just simply they didn't have a suicide player on TDM at the time when you came in, or?
I actually started playing Suicide when I joined like a real team, but then when I joined Blackfit, we didn't really run a Suicide. We mostly tri-lane, tri-lane, stuff like that. So I moved on to the secondary support and ganked and roamed a lot. But now Trademark, like Minus enjoys playing with the Suicide, so that's the role I had to jump on.
And then a follow-up question to that. It seems like we see Keeper of the Forest all the freaking time right now. And you're one of the players that plays it quite nicely, as well as Wild Soul. But like, what's your take on that hero? Because it seemed out of nowhere. I want to say it was TT Esports that kind of played him first in the suicide role. And at first people were kind of like, well, this is kind of weird. But wait a second. He gives himself 12 freaking armor with the level 4 Nature's Veil. And he can he's
Drop
a tanky mess. He can pull the creeps himself like Wild Soul. I mean, what is your take? Do you think it's like almost ridiculously strong? Or do you just think it's people haven't found a way to really combat that yet?
I think the hero's like a Wild Soul, except that he's got better team fight, but less pushing, less late game. He can pretty much fill the same role as Wild Soul by facing either tri lane, dual lane, or solo lane, because you have the armor, as you said, and you can pull the creeps. So it's really easy to get lane control. It's really hard to get harassed of the lane. So the hero is really strong in its current state.
Where do you rate him, like, as far as, seeing him blind bent all the time? Do you think he's like in the god tier? Do you think he's, I don't know, what's your
I think he's up there. Yeah.
I do too.
Really? Yeah, no, he is definitely up there. We do see him plenty. And Zai, of course, you play him great yourself. So, but of course, we're also joined by Alex. So I want to give Alex some speaking time here. Not that we forgot about you, Alex. Alex, so you're the player manager for Trademark. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, well, what does that mean? Actually, I mean, what do you do for Trademark Esports as an organization? Like, what's a routine for you?
I mean, basically, I do everything minus playing because I suck at it. I mean, so when you see the social media updates, that's me. Right now, it's been a lot of planning for DreamHack, getting the LAN booked, the game effect, I think, making sure like all the travel and hotels set. Just making sure that the players can focus on just playing and not worry about anything else.
Yeah, I mean, how has it been being? First off, how long have you been with Trademark actually?
Since February.
Okay, so you were at the previous DreamHack, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yeah, so you have a little bit of experience now under your belt. I mean, how has that been for you as far as being involved with Trademark Esports?
It's been awesome. I've always been a fan of esports in general, and to get an opportunity like this to, like, I guess really be a lot more hands-on, it's been definitely quite a ride.
Yeah.
A lot of ups, a few downs here and there, but overall, just a great experience.
Now, are you a case? I mean, it's kind of like this for me, where you said yourself, you may not be the greatest player out there, I'm not afraid to admit, I'm not the greatest player either, and in a sense, that kind of led me to this position of being a caster. Trelf, you as well. You struggle sometimes lately, so eventually, no. Anyways, no. But Alex, I'm curious on a serious note. Is it safe to say that maybe with because you weren't able to get there as a player, that maybe top tier level, that this is kind of that next best step of being involved in the management side, even?
Yeah, in many ways, yeah. I mean, I just suck so bad. Like, there's just no opportunity at all for me for HoN. So
yeah. Well, okay. So fair enough. Now again, this will be personally your second DreamHack actually. So what was it like last time for you? What do you expect this time coming up?
Oh man, last time was crazy. I couldn't believe how many people were at DreamHack, and I hear DreamHack winners even crazier. Tons of people. I'm actually not going to this year's or this DreamHack coming up, but I mean, I'm looking forward to some great matches, great results too.
What was it like managing Trelf?
He was. I mean, he did everything. He made my job easy, basically. I mean, he won matches.
All right.
And all I had to do was go on Facebook and say, like, "Oh, we won again."
Drop. You have any questions?
I was gonna say, it's sad to see that you're not going. It would have been fun to see you there again. But I felt really bad for Alex because we would be there at the LAN center playing for 12 hours, and then we'd have one meeting throughout the rest of the whole day, and then I would just see Alex sitting over there like this, like the whole day. I feel so bad. He has nothing to do right now. But
no, I'm sure he's doing plenty behind the scenes. So now, Trademark as an organization, I don't know how much information you have on this, but is Trademark looking to get into other games? I mean, I know obviously you have a HoN team right now. I believe that's your only team currently, correct?
Yeah, and we're absolutely looking to get into other teams. Right now we're looking at a Dota 2 team. Had a couple of Call of Duty teams talk to me. Even had a FIFA team. I didn't even know that existed. Oh, wow. But, I mean, right now we're focused on DreamHack. That's our main priority. But afterwards we're going to be looking at this Dota team that came to us and checking them out.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good to hear. Of course, esports organizations, there can always be more, right? So it's good to hear, obviously going with HoN right now, but, looking to expand. Never a bad thing. So that pretty much wraps it up for myself, though. Trelf, you have anything else to ask here?
No, I'm just really looking forward to how TDM performs in this DreamHack. I mean, I really rate you guys as right up there with Complexity, so should be a lot of fun.
There was one last thing, Alex, more so for you. If you actually want to give us some information, you guys are kind enough, your sponsor even, going to be helping us or giving us some prizes to give away here later on in the show. Alex, you want to go further into that?
Yeah, definitely. We got a Razer headset for you guys and a Razer mousepad. The headset is the Mega Soma, or Mega Lodon, sorry. You can Google that. And the headset is the Mega Soma. I'm sure we can get some links in the chat somewhere.
Yeah, we're actually showing it
there we go.
as well.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm sure whoever wins it will be pretty happy.
Yeah, definitely. And again, on that note, obviously we'll let you know how to actually win either one of those later on in the show. So stay tuned for that. So I really do appreciate you guys joining us here for our team spotlight on Trademark Esports. So I'll go to each one of you. Zai, any shout outs you want to make, man?
I want to shout out Bang Bang Crew. That's pretty much it.
All right, Alex, what about you?
Just first off, huge shout out to our fans, and then shout out to our organization and our sponsors at Razer and Raidcall, and shout out to you guys. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. Anywhere that people can follow you guys, whether it's on Facebook or something?
Yeah, it's facebook.com/TDM Esports, and same with Twitter. And for your chat room, no, I'm not BKid 2.0. I'm not related to BKid.
It's the camera position, man. That's what it
is. Yeah, that's right. He does
it's the fingers right in front of the camera thing. It's
that's true. That's true. So, and you guys have a website, Trademark Esports, or?
Yeah, trademarkesports.com.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, definitely go to those social medias. Check out the website, guys. Of course, Trademark Esports. I'm sure plenty of fans that are tuning in. Really do once again want to thank you guys for joining us and wish you the best of luck, obviously, in coming events and eventually DreamHack as well, of course. So thanks again.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, so with that said, guys, so again, thanks to Trademark Esports, getting to know them a little bit better, Tralf.
Yeah.
But now, it's time for the rundown. All right, so what is on the list here? Of course, again, this being our debut show, we figured, well, let's talk about HoN Tour. The qualifiers for HoN Tour officially began a couple weeks ago now, and it has been going. It's been going very, very well. Yes, there's been some bumps in the road. It happens. Let's be honest. But for the most part, it seems like things have been going off very well. It's been recepted very well. And Tralf, at least myself, I've had a lot of fun covering it so far.
I've had a lot of fun covering it, and I've had a lot of. It's been really cool to hear all the feedback. I talked about that earlier. And it's been really positive. Everything that I've heard has been really good. People have been saying the UI is awesome. It's cool that you can just show up to the match. The other thing, the cool feature that's just been added, I don't know if it's just been added, but people have realized is that you can just type /match or /game
HoN Tour, I believe
/HoN Tour, and it'll tell you exactly when your next match is.
Yeah.
And that's a really cool feature, I think.
Well, that a good point on that is that was actually just added in this previous weekend. So it goes to show you again, obviously with the launch of HoN Tour, you know, it brought a lot to the table with the automated system, with the new UI and everything, but it's still going to constantly be developed. I mean, it's still going to constantly be enhanced, I should say, as far as features. And that /HoN Tour, you know, being able to find your time a lot easier is just one of, I'm sure, many things down the road that's going to eventually come. So
yeah, definitely. And the whole system is amiable. I mean, we listen to your feedback, obviously. If you look at, like, the time allotted between matches, at first it was like 30 minutes, and we felt really bad because, you know, we don't want all these teams waiting for one team that decides to take a 30-minute break between game 1 and game 2. It just seems way too long. So we listened to your feedback, and we cut it down to, I think, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's really what it should be. I mean, you don't want to play a match and be like, all right, let me go have some supper with my mom.
Yeah, let's go order some pizza and then eat it.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back and
we'll
play
be
our next
back after
game,
a smoke or two. And then, no, it just needs to be like, you know, quick water or bathroom break or something like that. But
yeah, of course you got to have just a little bit of a break, but yeah, it's nice that was reduced. But again, those are just several examples of things that have already happened, and I'm sure many more things to come as far as features, as far as enhancements.
Yep.
You know, as a result of you guys, the community, you know, giving feedback to Relay S2 Games and letting us know. So, but you know what? Talking about HoN Tour here, talking about it getting launched, we figured what better way than who better than to talk to it with it too than Sam, aka MilkFat himself. MilkFat is now joining us, I believe. MilkFat, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. What's up, guys?
We are doing terrific, and
doing well.
We are doing well. Are you at home?
Yes, I am at home.
Awesome. Great setup you got there.
Thanks, man. I just moved in a couple weeks ago.
All right. But we're joined by MilkFat, of course, the competitive director here of Heroes of New Earth. So HoN Tour, obviously, it's been out now for a couple of weeks. It seems like again we've had your bumps, but things have been going well for the most part. What is your take on HoN Tour so far, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, besides that first week where we had a really big hiccup, you know, sorry about that, guys. Stuff happens, but we went and fixed it. Honestly, HoN Tour has been great. Recently, in this past week, we had an almost flawless weekend. If it wasn't for one minor mistake, everything would have been absolutely perfect. Besides that, it's been great. I mean, we had 1,024 people in a bracket. That is incredible to me. I mean, I think that's actually the largest in MOBA history, possibly even the largest in all online gaming. And it's only going to get more and more as the season, you know, continues.
Oh my gosh! Again, that's so true. It's 1,024 teams. It makes you realize, especially when we started covering it. Just you look at the bracket, you just scroll down. It just takes like 5 minutes to scroll through the whole thing.
Ridiculous. I know.
It's
annoying.
It is ridiculous. But speaking of that, that's another thing that's been enhanced, of course. The brackets I'm speaking of. So, but no. So again, we got up to the start now. Here we are, kind of going through it. So now we got the round of 32 coming up in the winners bracket. We have 64 teams in the losers bracket still. So just under 100 teams still remaining in the qualifiers. Sam, you know, how do you hope things, you know, finish off here? What do you expect to get out of the rest of the qualifiers?
I think we're going to see some of the best HoN that we've ever seen. I mean, it is just getting more and more intense. I mean, it's the round of 32, and we already got incredible matchups like Fortune Bakery versus QSQ.
Yeah.
There's a couple others that are just like matchups that you would expect to see, later on in the tournament are happening in the round of 32 because we have so many top teams competing. And to me, that is awesome. Yeah. The thing that I'm excited about most about HoN Tour is got to be that once the season starts, the whole stat tracking process and how that's going to work. And being able to look at the front and seeing, top kills, top assists, top GPM, that's awesome. Like, I am so pumped for that. It's finally going to be time to see who the best players in New Earth are.
Yeah, I've always been a stats man myself. I've said that several times on Honka. It's been cool, pulling that lately from recent events and knowing that it's going to be all automated. Again, another automated thing with HoN Tour that's going to be posting. And now you said that's going to start during Cycle 1, though, correct? So it's not going to be during the qualifiers?
Right, it's just going to be once the actual season starts.
Yeah. All right. So, again, things have been going off very well. Terrell, if you have any questions.
Well, I want to ask Sam, who are your favorite teams right now, at least in the qualifying tournament? You got to have at least one.
Yeah. Against all odds, I have a really strong feeling that Complexity is going to come out of that losers bracket and really just surprise everybody.
No way.
Right? Yeah. I mean,
that's a stretch.
I'm out of here.
No, that's a stretch.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Besides, the obvious teams that are going to be going to DreamHack, the really strong teams, Garrett Johnson, Q Squad, TT Sports, I think the teams that we're going to see get the farthest that a lot of people didn't expect are going to be Pudge with Mega Beaver, Fortune Bakery, that's Cookie's new team, Experience Gaming, that's another one.
Yeah, what's your take on them? Now, they kind of I don't know if you got a chance to watch them when we cast them, but they had some really interesting lineups and just a really interesting draft. So did you manage to see that? Did you manage to check it out?
Yeah, I did. I really enjoyed seeing Kronos because we haven't seen Kronos in a while.
I know you love Kronos.
I love Kronos. I own the account Best Kronos, man.
That's true, yeah.
Ironic, yeah.
Ironic that I'm actually terrible, yeah. It was really good to see him play, and he crushed both games, too. That's always the best to see, is to see them pick a hero that's not used very much and then just absolutely crush, because it makes people want to pick up that hero more as well. So I really like their drafting style. I have a feeling we're going to see some really cool stuff from Dota 2 transferred over. They're going to start seeing new strategies. And it's going to be fun seeing them juggle both games because I know they're still playing Dota 2 as well.
Another new strategy, or not new strategy, but a different strategy, even a different hero that we never get to see. I know you like. I don't know if you got the chance to watch it, but Blood Hunter was actually played by
know I did.
Of course you did. What am I saying? Yeah. So, again, another case of just there's things coming up, man, with this HoN Tour event. It's only the qualifiers, and it was only early on in the round still. I mean, again, we got great matchups this weekend, but that's still only the round of 32 in the winners bracket. So, man, it's crazy what's coming ahead of us, and eventually when the cycles start, of course. So,
yeah, I actually did want to say one thing though before you guys move on.
Definitely.
A lot of you guys have been talking about how we receive feedback and the changes that we've been making to HoN Tour to make it better. Last week, the /HoN Tour command, as well as reducing the time in between matches of, instead of having it be 30 minutes, it's going to be 15 minutes now. We're looking to keep those changes as well, possibly maybe reducing that opening 30 minutes to maybe 20 or 15. But I think that the change that a lot of people are going to be the most excited with is that we really listened to you guys as a team, and when you guys were expressing how upset you were with the initial Bronze League structure, about how it's one giant Bronze League that everybody could participate in, and it's just going to be really massive. It seemed like a lot of people had problems with that. So I just want to let everybody know that right now, before the actual first cycle starts in December, we are looking at creating separate Bronze Leagues for different time zones. So have one starting at a different time, or having one that's EU-based, another one that's Australia and NA-based, just so that everybody has the opportunity to participate. Because that's ultimately the goal with HoN Tour. We want as many people possible to participate, and other than that, we want as many people as possible winning money. You know what I mean? Like, this is an opportunity for these players that can't normally play HoN to compete on a weekend and make some good money. And that's awesome. I know Troff and I often joke about, because, we know what's coming in the future. We're always like, man, I wish I was still playing right now sometimes. And
me too.
That's good. That makes me happy that I feel that way, And I'm just really excited right now to see how all of this turns out.
Yeah, I think the coolest thing to add on to that, just real quick before we jump into the next thing, is that I go through my friends list and I see just a number of people on my list that are all what I thought were just casual players. They didn't really care that much, but actually competing in HoN Tour matches when it's going on. I'm like, wow, that's pretty.
Yeah,
pretty
absolutely.
Cool.
It is.
It's funny because, like, yeah, like you said, all my friends, all the girls I used to play with in Clan Lady, all of my friends I used to play Mid-Wars with, on those Saturdays, on those Sundays, it's just funny being able to watch them compete when they've never competed before. And they're into it, you know? They're playing against people of their equal skill level. It's something that's never been done before, and it's so exciting. I love it. Yeah.
It is. That's great to hear about the bronze. I'm sure, you know, people tuning in, and once that news eventually starts to get more and more, they're going to be really happy with that. That's awesome to hear. I mean, those bronze events, as we saw with the qualifiers, those are going to be some massive events, I'm sure. I mean, those are going to be 500-plus teams, and even each one of those, I wouldn't be surprised. So that's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah.
But, Sam,
sure.
Obviously, do appreciate you, again, joining us and talking a little bit more about HoN Tour and giving your take. We'll be keeping in touch, of course. Obviously in person. I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyways, any shout-outs?
I'll see you at work tomorrow, bro.
See you at work tomorrow, yeah. Any shout-outs you want to make, though? I got to do that first.
Shout out to Killer Orange. Everything that you guys see, him and Brad have been working on tirelessly. I love this whole format, this HoN Tour Weekly, the rundown. This is going to be cool, guys. HoN Tour is going to be awesome. And I just wanted to say thank you to every single person on my team, every single person at S2, and every single person before me, like Phil, that's helped contribute to such an awesome project.
Yeah.
So thanks to everybody, and we're looking forward to an awesome project.
It's only the beginning, baby. It's only the beginning. So thank you, Sam, for joining us. We'll talk to you soon again, man.
All right, later, buds.
There we go. So Sam, a.k.a. Milk Vet, as you guys know him as, again, the competitive director. He's the guy that, you know, been behind the scenes as far as a lot of the organization goes and, you know, making decisions, you could say, especially with HoN Tour. And, you know, even another one right there. He just debuted right there here on our debut show, go figure. Talking about the Bronze Division, how it's going to be split up into different regions with the European and then a North American Australian region. That's going to be amazing for those level of players.
Yeah, you got to give a big shout out to Sam, or Milk Fat too. I mean, he's really stepped in and done a wonderful job. I mean, I know a lot of people, of course, when you have a new person on the scene, being a little bit skeptical, but he really has done a lot of things for HoN Tour, for S2. It just comes in with so many different great ideas. And even if they aren't great, just still comes in with lots of ideas, so it gives you something to work with. So big shout out to Sam.
Yeah, the feedback is definitely being received, and you know, changes are already and will continue to be made changes as a result of that, I'm sure. So let's move on though to, you know, another thing that of course we wanted to follow up here on with, well, sticking with HoN Tour still, but we wanted to kind of go over maybe some teams that you may not be all too familiar with, and kind of give you a heads up of some teams that you should start at least knowing a little bit about. So with that said, you know, kind of a list of teams that we had here. The first one that we want to talk about, you already mentioned a little bit about them, Experience Gaming. Right. Now, this is a team, of course, their roster actually includes Ake and Loda, as well as No Easy,
Spader X,
and then who was the fifth one? I'm blanking on the fifth. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up real quickly. But anyways, this is a roster. Of course, Loda and Ake, though, those are the two players that the people are really, you know, intrigued by. Of course, they started with Dota. They eventually came over to HoN. They had their HoN history. Then they went over to Dota 2. But now they're back with Heroes of New Earth. And we actually got a chance to cover them over the weekend.
Yep.
You said the Kronos game. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it was. They picked a lot of different, well, interesting strategies, I should say. Support Polywog, I believe, was played in both games. And I was doing some thinking about it, and it's not that bad. It actually works out quite nicely. We've said in the past, support Polywog does kind of work, but especially against in a metagame where suicides are so prominent, like heroes like Bubbles or Pharaoh or what have you, that grip is actually very effective against suicides because it actually makes it very easy for the other short lane carry to maybe, you know, do a lot of damage onto him. If it's a Silhouette, like say Silhouette or Polywog lane, it's a very good lane against suicides, and it's a very good hero. It's also one of those heroes that's a level 6 hero. Heroes like Bubbles, like Polywog Priest, they don't require any amount of farm once they hit level 6 for that level 6 ultimate to be effective. And we saw Experience Gaming do that in 2 of their games that we casted this weekend.
Yeah.
This last weekend.
And actually, I was looking through some score results, and again, that we didn't cast them. They're actually previous round on Sunday, I believe it was, so that would have been the winner's bracket round of 64.
Yep.
They ended up moving on, but they actually lost a game in that series. I believe
noticed
it was
that
even
too.
the first game. So
yeah.
It is starting to get a little bit scary, but they are still in the winner's bracket. They're in the round of 32. And again, going to be interested to see where they go from there. Nikwa was another one of their players. S4 is actually on their roster as well. And then even Strangby, of course, a couple names right there that you may recognize from the HoN's competitive history past. And it's just, again, this is just one example of teams and players that are coming back as a result of HoN Tour. You know, as we really all expected, you know, with it being the automated system, all the money on the line, and all the opportunity, really, the experience. It's pretty awesome seeing that. So, yeah, Experience Gaming. Again, really intrigued to see how they get through this weekend especially. And I'm very curious to see if they can make gold. I mean, I know their skill level is there, but there are question marks, the obvious being, you know, how much dedication, how much focus are they putting on the metagame for HoN?
That's the biggest thing. I mean, they have the talent, they have the skill, no question. And it's the same deal with a lot of other teams that are still in the spotlight right now, that have the talent, but their strategy is not quite all there. I think that's the biggest issue is when you dip into a couple different games and then come back.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they go for sure, and only time will tell. So with the HoN Tour qualifiers, we'll see if they make that top 16 to make it on to the Diamond Division, or if they're going to be going to the Gold Division. Or even silver. They're still not technically qualified for even gold just yet. So we'll see how that plays out. But another team on the list was actually going to be Domain of Pain. Now, this is a team we've been learning a little bit more lately. But just to reiterate, in case you are still unfamiliar with these guys, they were formerly known as the Returners, but now they're known, of course, as Domain of Pain. And their roster, of course, famous players, Angry Testy is really all I need to say for a lot of people out there. But Angry Testy, we're dealing with Emperor, a.k.a. Brized. You got Fitzke, Enzo, and Jeppins. And also Zanap is actually part of that crew as well. So some recognizable names there. Again, almost kind of a case of players returning to the competitive HoN scene as a result of HoN Tour, hence formerly being the Returners. So.
Yeah, I keep in close contact with actually all these guys. They're a lot of my close friends. I've met a number of them in real life. Angry Testy is an old. I'm so cool, aren't I? Thanks. Shout out to Killer Orange. But anyway, I used to play with Angry Testy for some time on SK, and they're a very mature bunch of guys.
Yeah.
I mean, they really study. They take time to study the metagame. They figure out what works. The only thing I have on them right now is I feel like they need to practice more. I don't see them when I look and I hop into the HoN client and I see who's scrimming, who's playing right now. They're never really on that list of a team that's scrimming all the time.
Testy's got to play with the customers, man.
Well, he seems to be open. It's just a matter of getting all those 5. I mean, I know they're all busy guys, and they have other things to attend to. But, when I'm on there, I see TT Esports scrimming all the time. I see Orange Esports scrimming all the time. And so it's just they're just not in that list of active teams right now. I think if they are able to do that, we saw that actually in Destination DreamHack, and at the very early stages of that tournament, they didn't look so hot.
Yeah.
They actually started scrimming in the midst of the tournament, and they looked way better. So it does really go a long way.
Emperor made the point of that. We actually got the chance to interview him during that event, I believe it was, and he was saying how initially there was very little to no practice going on, but then it did start to pick up, and the results definitely showed with that. So this HoN Tour event, they've been going strong. Again, they're also still in the round of 32 here in the winner's bracket. They've had a fairly easy time. It doesn't seem like they've had too many troubles, but we'll see, of course, how they fare this week. And actually, their upcoming match is going to be against not the Q Squad team, but one of the other Q Squad teams. That's right, Q Squad is actually, once again, they have several Q Squads in the event. They're going to be playing Q Squad 777 is who they're playing in the round of 32. So we'll see how they fare against them. Of course, that's going to be on Saturday this week, and whether or not. Now, this is a team I would be a little bit surprised if they don't make Diamond, I'm not going to lie. I think
Domain of Pain?
Yeah, Domain of Pain.
Okay.
I think they should make Diamond. I mean, I think their skill level, of course, is unarguably there. Again, it's a case of experience gaming. Are they going to dedicate enough? Well, as you were just saying, will they be screaming enough? I think they have been to an extent. And Angry Testy, I mean, God, his stats are so impressive. We were looking through even a couple of those, and I think he is a very good carry player for the team, and it's going to be good enough at least to get Diamond. It's just whether or not where they're going to be in that Diamond division is what I'm really intrigued about.
I think the weirdest thing, kind of the most crazy thing we might see, is the fact that Complexity is already in the losers bracket.
Oh God!
Obviously, they'd go through their unfortunate, DDoSing situation or whatever, and then they found themselves in the losers bracket. But there are going to be those matches like this next weekend. I don't know if we talked about it yet, but Q Squad taking on Fortune Bakery. We'll get more into that later, but one of those good teams are going to actually dip down in that losers bracket, and inevitably you're probably going to have to play Complexity. So that's just one of those interesting things that we're going to probably see come into play.
Yeah, that's a really good point to bring up, actually, with Complexity having their unfortunate circumstance. So.
And to add on to that, it's like, well, one of these really great teams might not actually make it in Diamond because of that, fact. So
it's possible.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. There's so many different situations as we come into it, but just got to kind of wait.
That's a cool thing about HoN Tour, though, again, on the note, even if you somehow, if you get unlucky in that sense, you get knocked out, go to gold to start, you finish, I think it's top 4 in the gold division that first cycle, and you'll be Diamond in the second cycle, and, going on from there. And that by no means is a bad thing. I mean, you could definitely still start in gold and still compete for a top 3 spot even at the end of the season. So, Yeah, moving down the list, though, there were a couple more teams. I want to try to go through this a little bit quicker, but Pudge was one of the other teams, and again, Pudge is also another team that we did get a chance to cast this weekend. Now, they surprised us a little bit in the sense that they lost even their first game to it was One Trick Pony with Archie Tiger and their crew, but they still ended up winning the series, 2-1 in the end. And as I keep reiterating, I would find it very hard to believe, again, this is a team I expect to really see in that Diamond Division.
I do too. I was mentioning that as well, and it really comes down to, we talk about one side where, I'm just gonna say it, TT Esports and Orange Esports. I think they're all very, very skilled individual players.
Yeah.
I do question their drafting just a little bit from time to time. I think it's the opposite for Pudge's team. I think that they might not be the most skilled of players, but I think they actually got their strategy down quite nicely. With the dual lane mid, a strong jungle, strong solo short, and a very strong suicide, and a dual lane mid that works, that will beat most dual lane mids. And that really, I feel like, right now in the metagame seems to be the strongest way to go. And they're using a pushing jungling aspect to make it even stronger. A hero like Warbeast, we see that run all the time with Tiore. And it just seems to be working out for them. Now, I will say in that first game that we cast with them against OTP was pretty friggin' ridiculous.
That was the Suicide Warbeast where he's just spamming W and, enhancing his team as a result. That was fun to watch. I think that was more of a case of OTP just surprisingly playing very well and maybe even caught them off guard a little bit. But in the end, like I said, they won the series, and I'm also growing on the name a little bit. Dendy's Jungle Divas.
Oh, I haven't.
I know. Yeah, you're not. Well, we won't say, what you called him behind it, no. But anyway, so yeah, Pudge is definitely another team to look out for. And then the last team we wanted to bring up here, again, team we might not know too much about, but team you should start knowing about, Fortune Bakery. You mentioned these guys earlier, as did Sam. Fortune Bakery, of course, that is Cookies, Mookies, and their crew over
I have
there.
it actually right here.
Somewhat formerly Clan Milk.
Cookies, King Plato, Meisty, Creams, Gigi Sucka, Mookies, and NQQ Oodle.
Noodle.
And I like saying NQQ Oodle.
You could do that way too, yeah, that's true.
Because I see two giant.
They're supposed to be the crying eyes, though.
I know, but I just like saying NQQ Oodle.
Ruining everything. So yeah, that's the roster right there. And again, this is somewhat formerly Clan Milk to an extent. Very skilled team, again, especially when you talk about the TMMC. I mean, a lot of these players on top, especially Cookies, for sure. So what do you expect out of this team?
I don't know, honestly. I know that there's a little bit of hype around them, but I just think that they're a team of mostly friends. I just want to play for fun. That's just what I get. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they do have some talented players on that roster, but I just don't think they're going to take it seriously. I think they don't strike me as a team that when they lose, let's go ahead and look at the replay, analyze what we did wrong, and then fix it, and okay, what works, what doesn't. They just seem like let's pick Draconis and see what happens, or I don't know. That's what strikes it to me.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see, how their play style works for them when it comes later on in this tournament. Again, though, we'll see where they place up. All of those teams that we talked about, though, they are still in the round of 32 in the winners bracket, so they are in a very good spot to obviously not only make gold, but eventually even diamond if they keep at it. So good luck to those teams again. So those are a couple of teams that you should really start looking out for if you haven't already. So kind of naming a few, but now there's the usual suspects here that you may recognize. It is a very good movie. Anyway, but yeah, these are teams that we already know about, but let's go ahead and talk about them a little bit more. Starting with the list, we got Trademark Esports.
Yeah.
Again, we obviously did the team spotlight with them. This is a team going into this event, no doubt have to be one of the favorites. Even in some people's mind, I mean, favorites to even win it all here. So
yeah, I think I mentioned to them, when you really think of number 1 and number 2, you think of Complexity and TDM.
Yeah.
I think there's no question in that. They seem to be a team, when they talk about drafting and skill, I feel like they got it all. Minuts' drafting has really impressed me in the last times I've seen him actually play in competitive matches. I haven't seen them scrim all that much. I know they scrimmed actually a little bit today. I didn't actually get a chance to see all of it, but a scrim is a scrim. You try different things. It's why you scrim. Yeah. What matters is the competitive matches, and it seems to be working. They seem to run the same strategy that I was talking about with the dual lane mid. Very strong dual lanes. I could go on and on about how this works, but it works, and they're doing it. Yeah. And they're solidifying their roster. I mean, they're solidifying their player roles. Zai, as we talked about on the suicide role, seems to work out really well for them. Similar when you look at like QSQ. We were talked with Nova for some time about Jonathan Fan, specifically on the suicide role. Jonathan Fan used to play for Lions a long time ago, about a year ago actually, before DreamHack, when they kind of switched the roster. And it just didn't work with the role he was playing. He was playing a hard carry back then.
Yeah.
Now he switched to a suicide, and it kind of fixed everything.
It did.
And sometimes a little fix like that, just an role assignment, can really make or break a team. And I think in this case for TDM, it totally made them.
The synergy is clearly coming together over time. I mean, this is a team that, again, they are a very scary team right now on the competitive Heroes Newer scene. And obviously, you know, for those that follow it, even somewhat watch HoNcast, you follow the scene, you follow HoN Tour, you've definitely heard of these guys before. So,
yeah.
Again, they are obviously still in the round of 32. So, I'm sure, you know, their next couple of matches, again, depending on who they're actually matched up against, you can check out the brackets on HoNtour.com and see, you know, what their possibilities are. But wouldn't be surprised to see them even in that grand finals, to say the least, of these qualifiers. So, moving down the list, TT Esports, this is another team here. Of course, I'm sure you're all very familiar with it. It's kind of been interesting seeing the transition for this team. They, for the longest time, you know, back when they were known as Frenetic Array, then eventually TT Esports, they were known as the Aussie team, the Australian team that everyone knew and loved.
Right.
But with HoN Tour, that changed. The Destination DreamHack and then the HoN Tour event, they're technically not an Australian team anymore. White Talibah and Slicks, of course, still from that region, but you got Riser, Leon Black, and help me here, I'm totally blanking.
Riser, Leon Black, White Talibah, Slicks, and Moravis.
Moravis, of course. How can I forget Moravis? Thank God I have this guy by my side.
Yep.
So yeah, Moravis, of course, they're 5th. Again, it's now technically a US West roster on the scene. So it's been interesting seeing that, but still a team, no doubt, that you have to look out for.
Well, actually, I was playing with the White last night in TMM, and I was asking, you want me to thumbs down USC? He's like, no, because the automated system makes me play USC on HoN Tour anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm getting used to it.
That's true.
So that's another
sucks.
interesting thing about the HoN Tour UI. But
well, again, that's part of the automated system, you know, with it choosing the server for you, but that's the give and take. I mean, sure, you could sit here and say they could try to find another Australian player in place of either Moravis, Leon Black, or wow, I'm so bad at Riser. God, I'm all over the place. Anyways, but at the same time, you know, those are 3 very, very skilled players and are clearly working out for them. So it's just an unfortunate, you know, sacrifice that they have to make. So that's CT Esports. Q Squad, another team, of course. This has been a team that we've loved to talk a lot about lately. Of course, Q Squad, Nova, the leader of Q Squad, he's done great things with that organization. Their team is fantastic. Easily a top 5 team, you got to say. What do you expect out of them, Trev?
I think Nox is a very, very good carry player. I really like watching him. He's extremely consistent in every hero that he plays. And I really do feel like, you know, a lot of people will say, I don't like how you always highlight the carry players. They give them too much of a limelight. Well, there's a reason, because sometimes it all rests in their hands ultimately. Yes, other players do make the do kind of run the show from the beginning to mid and late game, but it really does ride all on their shoulders. If they screw up, it's kind of all over.
It happens in every sport.
You really have to be a very consistent player to play that carry role, and Nox simply does that. I see other carry players on some teams where it just kind of falls through, but he always seems to be consistently high GPM. He's always active as well. Talking about active carries, look at Slicks. We'll talk a little bit maybe more about that later, but Nox especially really strikes me as a great player on that team.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He no doubt has been a player that really has made a name for himself as a result of this Q Squad team and as time has gone on. So definitely a fun player to watch, a fun team to watch, really. And obviously another team that's also going to be a DreamHack. And then the last one I wanted to bring up, Gary Johnson 2012. Go figure, being the elections today. We got, of course, that Swindle Melons and crew. They're obviously a team that, you know, they were recently, this is the newest team out of these 5 that we're talking about.
Yeah.
But still a very, very scary team, Jeff.
Yeah, I think, okay, when we're talking about the 2 separate things of talented players versus strong drafting, I would definitely give them the strong drafting. I think their drafting is pretty good, but I will say that from time to time, it seems like Swindle Melons just tries to go too much against the grain. Like, he's trying too hard to not play this hard carry metagame. But right now, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, it just seems to be working. And so that's one thing I do worry when they do get to DreamHack. But they have had their successes, and they have been playing some time as a team, and it's been working out. So.
Yeah. Then, of course, well, there's the last one to bring up. So we went over this list. You may be saying, you know, well, how about Complexity? Well, yes, Complexity is no doubt a team to bring up here. If you haven't heard of Complexity yet, I mean, you're living under, I don't know what to say. I mean, if you're tuning into the show especially. So, but, of course, Complexity, this is, if we were to take a poll, you know, of really the community and say, which team do you think is going to not only win the qualifiers but HoN Tour as a whole? I think it's safe to say the majority would say complexity for good reason. So, what is your take on complexity?
You see all this? You see all of this? I'll give you a side look. You see all of
It's going to be gone after DreamHack.
No! It's not going to be gone.
It's going away.
It's staying. It's going to be beautiful.
It's going, man.
My lovely locks.
I can't believe you made that bet.
Well, I have nothing to fear. Sorry. Okay, real talk. Complexity's looking really good. And for good reason. I mean, you talk about if you really try to label like the 5 best players in HoN right now playing competitively, it's hard not to include any of these members on that list. I mean, Chessie, he's the best jungler. He is the best jungler. It's been really fun to watch him as he started out on the team.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, I always knew, actually, because when he played a long time ago for, I think it's Gosu. He didn't get that much of a limelight. He was playing a lot of the more carry-style heroes, like Forsaken Archer. He played a lot of Zephyr, and just kind of different styles of heroes and different roles. But I always knew, because I saw him from time to time when they'd ran Ophelia, I was like, wow, this guy's Ophelia is friggin' good.
Yeah.
And it's awesome to see him solidified in that jungle role. It just seems like I've talked about players to hero assignments, and Complexity just has it down. And that's why, honestly, I think that they're the best team right now.
See, I didn't. I really didn't know much. I mean, I knew about Chessie, of course, but as you said, he never really was highlighted. And so I never really thought much of him when I heard that he was being announced to being the new 5th on the team. I was like, okay, that's a solid pickup, I guess. But man, especially when he started streaming himself, and then obviously just after results, we started seeing for the team. Damn fine player. So no doubt a huge pickup, a great 5th edition for that team. Of course, Haxerin, part of the team. And actually, Moon Meander, note on that, Moon Meander apparently is going to Denmark.
I think he's there already.
I believe, either he's there already or there's maybe more news on that. But there was a forum post talking about that, how he's actually going to Denmark, I believe maybe even to stay with Haxerin, and of course getting ready for the DreamHack event. So, getting some good unity there, some synergy in person, you could say.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's Franzi. And then, well, there's the swag master, the B kid, after all, the captain of the team. So, yeah, a team that it's going to be a lot of fun seeing how they progress. As you mentioned, though, they are in the losers bracket because of the DDoS incident or whatever it was. They had to forfeit their first match of the tournament, for those that aren't aware. And so we're like, this is interesting. So there was a chance that they may have gone to bronze, and I'll just say that would have been good for no one. I mean, it would not have been good for the other teams. It wouldn't have been good for coverage. It wouldn't have been good for Complex. It would have literally been no positive out of that. So,
well, it would have undermined the whole, reason why HoN Tour has come into existence, is that they don't want some top team to come in and just to some bronze or silver league and whoa, just easy win, easy money, no problem, not going to be playing anyone good. That's not why HoN Tour was designed or how it was designed. So, yeah, you're right. It just really hurts. It really helps nobody.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting, though. Again, the downside of that for them is they've literally had to play twice as many matches now going through the losers bracket. So still a team that would have surprised me to see in the grand finals even, but they're going to have to work a little bit harder than they expected, that's for sure. So there you go. Some teams that both that you may not know about enough and helping you out there, and well, the teams that you do know about, but just to reiterate who they are. We've mentioned DreamHack quite a bit throughout these other segments so far, but on that note, as we said earlier, kind of breaking news here, even a couple hours before the show started, the group stages were actually announced for DreamHack winner.
There we go.
2012. So as you can see on your screen, Group A consists of Complexity, Gary Johnson 2012, Orange Esports, Cats Gaming, and Pain Gaming. Who we got in Group B, Trev?
Group B, TT Esports, Trademark Esports, Q Squad, Team MRR, that's the Thailand team, and then VTI MSI Dynasty.
Yeah.
So, obviously there's 5 int teams and then 5 teams from the other clients, and Group B has 3 of those. It's interesting to hear people's speculations about which group is stronger or what have you. But I believe, as we were talking about it, that the top 2, like the top 1 of Group A will play the top 2 of Group B. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, it'll be 1 versus 2 and 2 versus 1, kind of how that works. So the top 2 from each group are going to be moving on to a semifinal stage, best of 3, of course. So the group stages will be best of 2 or static 2, whatever you want to call it. Then the top 2 will move on to the semifinals. Will be best of 3 there, 1 versus 2, 2 versus 1, and then the grand finals, of course. So now, a fun thing to talk about when you got groups, of course, is, well, the group of death. A lot of people like to, use that term as the group that they find to be the most difficult, the unfortunate group that the teams are in. I look at these 2 groups. I don't see a group. This is the first time really in group stage history for me, at least. I don't see an obvious group of death. I think both of these groups have something going for them here, Trev.
I think, honestly, if you had to give an edge to one, I think Group B is a little bit stronger. Complexity, Gary Johnson, Orange Esports, Cats Gaming. the top 2 right there. Well, actually, the top 3. I mean, Orange Esports is quite strong as well.
Yeah.
But Group B, I feel like there's 4. Now, I'm going out on a limb here. I haven't seen that much from Team MRR, but I've heard great things. I've seen a little bit, and it's hard to speculate at this point. But I will say, regardless, TT Esports, Trademark Esports, Q Squad are 3 very, very solid teams that right there in that Group B stage.
Yeah, I do agree with you. If you had to lean towards one or the other, maybe Group B. But again, it's not like that's the group of death, and we're sticking to it.
No, yeah, there's no group of death.
These international, well, I say international, that's weird, but these other teams, the Southeast Asian, the Latin America, the CIS team specifically. So we got the 5 North American Europe that we've talked plenty about, but how about these other teams? You got Orange, Team MRR, Pain Gaming, VTI Dynasty, and Cats Gaming. What do you think their chances are, Trev, of at least making the semifinals, of finishing top 2 in either one of those groups?
Are we ready for some real talk?
Real talk here?
I don't have the highest expectations for them. I really don't. I will say Orange Esports plays, I've said this before, play a lot better on LAN. When I played them at DreamHack this last summer, they were like a different team, honestly, than when we played them on the international client. And I think it really does come down to the ping. I just think they play a lot better with 40 ping than 270, as most people do. Yeah. So you can't blame them. But as far as the other teams goes, the Brazilian teams, or the Latin American teams, I should say, I don't think they're going to be that strong, simply because I don't think they're right in tune with the metagame right now. I think we actually saw VTI Dynasty as we casted them, and they had some interesting picks. They went with a straight up tri-lane, but that kind of phase is a little bit over. You can still do it if you have the right heroes, and actually can still be effective, but they didn't have the right heroes. And I don't know if they know which heroes are correct in doing that.
Yeah.
So I don't have the highest hopes for them. Now with Team MRR, like I said, I've heard great things about this Thailand team, and Thailand is a place where HoN is just booming and thriving.
Yeah,
so
it is huge.
Hopefully, we see some good things from them.
It is huge. I believe it's even the biggest country out there right now as far as Heroes of North is concerned. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but it really is huge over there. So you got to figure the top team from over there, the top qualifying team, going to bring something to the table. So
yeah,
I'm on board with you though, especially after the last event. You know, I was going into the last DreamHack. I was actually really intrigued to see these new teams, and I gave them a little bit of hope, but in the end, you know, it just didn't fare too well for them. It seemed like the North American and European teams were just a step above. This event, I guess that kind of helps me lead towards the direction of what you're saying. It seems like the North American and European teams just seem to be a step above, but I would love to be surprised, as I'm sure everyone else would be. So that's what those teams have going for them, in the sense of, hey, they got nothing to lose. We're going to come in here. We're not expected to do that great. All of a sudden, we're 10-0, and we're going to the grand finals. No, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. So DreamHack winner 2012. Of course, we'll be discussing more about that next week even, with that coming up. But ladies and gentlemen, that's it for our first part of the show. We're going to take a quick break right here. Stay tuned. More topics coming up. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to HoN Tour Weekly, where we discuss everything Heroes of New Earth, competitive Heroes of New Earth, some news and information really from the last week. Go figure the name. I'm Breaking CBK, joined by Tralph Mador. Hopefully you enjoyed that break right there, checking out some scores that happened from this last week in the round of 64. Some interesting numbers right there.
Yeah.
Angry Testy, 709 gold per minute on Wretched Hag. Ain't no thing, all right? So,
Ain't no thing.
Fun to look at. But with that said, guys, well, we're going to go into, I'm sure, a popular feature that a lot of people are excited to see back and really excited for. We're going to jump into the top 5 plays of the week. Almost. Just about. Coming up soon. Okay. Actually, you know what? We figured we need to give you a teaser. It's not coming just yet. Oh, boy, I just forgot how to troll you guys right there.
Yeah.
All right, so actually what we're going to go ahead and talk about first is we're going to go ahead and talk about these heroes that were introduced into HoN Tour as a result of the latest balance patch. You know, we've went over a little bit, but like in between matches, but we never really got the time to sit down and give our really breakdown of them and, information on them. So 6 new heroes, 2 new items were introduced in the balance patch that went in with HoN Tour. So starting with the heroes, Prophet's the big one, it seems like. Prophet's the one that you look at this whole list of both items and heroes, and you're like, he's the one we're going to see actually a good amount out of, I'm sure, Trove.
Yeah, there's Prophet, there's Bramble, Rally, Alonia, Ravenor, Riftwalker, and then the 2 items being Sackstone and Icon of the Goddess. But yeah, Prophet, we've seen him a number of times actually in just casting him. And he's a hero. He's not so strong, I feel like, in mid. Okay, I should take that back. He's very strong in mid, but it's typically played as a mid-style hero where you want to be the initiator with a blink and something like a stun. He doesn't really have that. But as a laning support, he has all that, especially if you're going up against like a Suicide Bubbles or something like that.
Yeah.
He can really keep him out of the lane with all those spells. And his ultimate does propagate to everyone else in that ultimate. It's got about, I want to say 450 radius or something like that. Yeah. And so when you're thinking of, we actually saw this combination of Tempest and Prophet. Tempest obviously using the Elemental Void, suck them all in. The Prophet ultimate on top of that just propagates so much damage, and it's really fun to watch. You know,
I've heard from around the board from a lot of the competitive players. It seems like Prophet. You were going into DreamHack Winter, of course. It's what, 2.5 weeks away now. It seems like if you're to ask them what's a hero that we should expect to see at this event that may be new or that we may not see a whole lot of right now, and it seems like Prophet is the go-to again, even for that. It just the support hero that a lot of teams, I'm sure, are going to start picking up on. You said, as you kind of explained right there, with all of his abilities, it just seemed to synergize so well. With a lot of makeups right now, especially in the competitive HoN scene. And I'm sure we're going to see plenty of him. We've already seen a bit of him.
He's just got a lot of utility. Yeah. I mean, he has a heal. The heal is a 1-point wonder almost. I think it's like it starts out at 70, but then it doesn't grow that much after that. It's like 70, 100, 120 or something. So it's not really worth leveling it up that much. But the one level of it is like a 1-point wonder. So
yeah.
And then the other spell is it's a very strong stun that I forget what it's called. I want to say Invigorate.
Invigorate's the heal. Debilitate, I think, is.
That's what it might be.
I have it right here. Debilitate, yes.
Okay.
No, Persecution is the stun. Debilitate's the amplified damage in the nuke. So.
The names always fail me. But it's really strong. I mean, especially against melee heroes, because obviously they have to get right up in that creep wave. And like I said, he's just got all the utility in the world. Yeah. The only thing is he doesn't really have an escape mechanism. His slow and his heal can kind of be considered that, but it's not the same. He is a little bit squishy. But as far as team fighting, sitting back there, and as long as you keep your position correctly, as most supports should, I mean, whether you're Glacius, Aluna, what have you, as long as you keep your position correctly in the back, you're able to cast all your spells, it's going to do a lot of damage. It's a support that's going to bring out a lot of damage.
Yeah, I see chat kind of exploding right here, giving their take on other heroes that they expect. And it seems like there's going to be a couple. There's a couple out of this list of 6 that people maybe expect to see or think are powerful. Riftwalker, yeah, as you said, Riftwalker. Did we actually see? I don't know if we actually casted her. I know that she has been at least tried out by a couple teams.
I feel like we did.
I feel like we talked. Maybe she was locked, but not actually picked. I don't know. Anyways, she's an interesting hero. We've talked about her a little bit, at least. How it seems like she can be powerful, but it's just whether or not she really fits right now.
She doesn't have a point stun or anything like that in lane. Now, not to say that Prophet really does either. It's not like a real stun. It's like a mini stun. But hers a little bit different. Her attack animation is kind of, it's a little weird. I will say, though, her ultimate is pretty damn good. It's 1200 range, and it's superior magic. So against someone like a Tempest who has that shrunken head, even has a null stone on top of that, you can still cancel it. And especially when Tempest is picked up so often in this meta, we'll talk a little bit more about that in the segment to follow. But especially when against a hero like Tempest, it's very effective.
It is, and yeah, I've actually had the chance again. Like I like to say, mid wars is what it comes down to when I try out these new heroes, and put her in mid wars, and she seems like a lot of fun. But it's gonna be interesting to see if teams can find a place for her in the meta game right now. So Bramble is another one though that again a lot of people are pointing out, and it'd be fun to even have Zetpro on to give his take on Bramble. I know he loves that hero, but it seems like this is a hero that some people love, but other people just think it's not going to be played. I mean, what is your take?
I haven't played him yet.
Okay.
I don't know. I do know that he's a giant tanky mess that doesn't ever seem to die. And his ultimate is so annoying to play against. Again, I still don't really know what it does. I haven't done my homework, guys. I'm sorry.
Some big wards come out and shoot you.
It's just gross. Honestly, I just think the portrait is gross, so I never play it. I'm one of those guys. It's like I read a book by its cover. I'm not really. Anyway, I still have to
learned
play
a lot
him.
about you.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So you haven't played him much at all. So unfortunately, okay, not much in-depth insight there, unfortunately. But again, mid wars. I played him a couple times. I did do very well with him, and as you say, if it seems like I can do well with him, even if it's mid wars. They have a skill here at S3 Games, a balance team, where it seems like a hero may be a little bit more on the powerful side. So I want to tone him down a little bit.
There you go.
That's not real, by the way. Don't want people freaking out about that. So yeah, Bramble though, he said he's kind of a gross looking. I think he's funny looking.
No, it's just the portrait. I think it just looks
the portrait
like
itself.
It reminds me of Little Shop of Horrors. If you guys have ever seen that movie, like that's all I think of when I see that. I'm like, oh man.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, there's
maybe that's what they were going for.
There's the other three heroes. We have Rally, Artillery, and then who was the last one?
Rally is terrible. Shout out to B-Kid.
Rally's terrible. Like, there's insight on that. We got who was the other one? It was
Alonia.
Alonia. Why did I say Artillery before? Alonia, and actually now Alonia we did see, and damn, does she have some burst damage?
She does, man. Haven't played her either, but she has a lot of burst damage from what I've seen. I've played against her for sure, and I will say that the thing is like you were mentioning, actually, you brought up a really good point, is how she could be played. Like, it's really awkward seeing a hero like that in a solo role, but it almost feels like she kind of has to have that. So, I don't know. I haven't seen her played it really as a support yet, but she kind of feels like she would be a support hero.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm sure that teams are starting to pick up on that, because if you see that ultimate, someone was like, I was asking someone, what does that ultimate do? And they're like, it's kind of like the Frozen Orb from the Sorceress in Diablo 2. I was like, oh, okay, that makes perfect sense. And god damn, it did so much damage.
Yeah, but it did. It was fun to watch from that perspective. So it is a hero. I wouldn't be surprised to see it more of, just to kind of gauge, how well she actually does in the competitive scene. So,
yeah.
And then there was a last one. Actually, it was Ravenor. We've talked a bit about Ravenor in the past. I mean,
yeah,
just seems like, especially with that ball lightning ability, my favorite
ball lightning
ability name. Yeah, the slow ball lightning that comes at you and easy to dodge. Would be fun to see, but it doesn't seem like he might not really fit too well.
I'll say he can dish out some damage, man. He can
true.
really dish out some damage. And actually, if you get those charges up, I believe they do work on Kongor. I'm pretty sure. As long as I'm pretty sure they do. And he's a Kongor killer, but he just kind of tapers off in the mid to late game. He's very easy to kill. He doesn't really have an escape mechanism other than the fact that he gets charges up and has this high movement speed.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like, I mean, he does lots of damage, but he has no real, like, guaranteed stun. Yes, his Q does stun if it does hit. And it's actually very good against blinking heroes because you can activate it, I think it's 4 seconds after it hits.
It's a while, yeah.
And so that's a very effective tool. He could be played, but it's kind of up in the air.
Seems very niche, as far as the hero is concerned. The items, you got Icon of the Goddess. It's kind of as a replacement for the original Sackstone. It's an interesting, you got the 3-item build-up to it, so the Icon of the Goddess, you get the charges on it. Do you think it's an item that we could start seeing, or it just doesn't seem to fit?
Doesn't seem to fit. I have no other words.
All right. And then there's Sacrificial Stone, the new Sackstone. Now, that's not in that seems. It does kind of fit.
I will say for Icon of Goddess real quickly, it's like if you're investing that much gold into something that makes you maybe a little bit more tanky with more mana regen, why not get like a sheep stick? Why not spend a little bit more for a sheep stick or something that just seems so much more effective in a team fight? So,
or heroes that may want it too. It seems like they can also build a Staff of the Master. A lot of the heroes that would want that, and it seems like Staff of the Master on most maybe would be just beneficial.
Which is an item, by the way, I think needs a little bit of buffing. But
yeah.
That's neither here nor there.
So then now the new Sackstone, though, expect to see it maybe a little bit more.
I do like this item. I will say you have to make sure you don't buy it if you do go for those chain boots, because it doesn't stack. Now, the cool thing about Sackstone is it's actually the duration of it lasts longer than the cooldown, so you can have it on all the time.
Yeah.
And it's another one of those kind of staple, team has to have this item similar to an Astrolabe, a barrier idol. Then you put this on top of that. It gives your creeps and your allied heroes lots of armor to work with. So it also gives that it's like an upgraded Grave Locket. Well, it is an upgraded Grave Locket, but it makes that respawn timer from 10 seconds to 12 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, which is pretty long.
It is
if you get it early.
Yeah, so again, earlier on, get the charge on it, and all of a sudden you're coming back that much quicker. So, all right, so there you go. And well, as I promised earlier, guys, I was just trolling for that little portion right there, but now I believe we are ready. We're gonna now jump into our top 5 plays of the week. All right, so as you can see, play number 5 made by the great Ponyface here. Playing some bubbles, making some juking and jive in, and let's just say he knows how to escape from some close situations. Oh, the Nymphora Zeals it at the last second, and the Shellster Panic barely gets away. Epic skills.
Number 4 on the best hero in competitive play. It's the Drewster playing that rally. Now, what's he going to do? He actually used the stun to get out of here. Baiting him.
All the mines.
What is it? All the mines.
All the mines.
Oh my god, what are we going to see? A huge ultimate on top of the mines. Kills all of them pretty much instantly. The keg stun unfortunately misses him, but it doesn't matter. Damage has already been done. And oh my god, that was pretty crazy.
They just melt. I mean, you can see from Torture's point of view here, they're going uphill. I think they have a free kill. Oh no! Gotcha, bitch! Boom goes to Dynamite. Wow, that was something. Play number 3, we have, I'm sure a lot of people out there know this guy, Limp, of course, from Trademark Esports. Playing Draconis. You see him right there. Go to the shop. He picks up Boots and Ring of the Teacher, if you notice that. And then he helps him juke away. Of course, Silhouette and Parasite are chasing, going through the trees. Here's from Silhouette's perspective. And what she sees, actually, so the Fade to Black constantly coming into play. Seems like she's having a little bit of trouble there with Parasite even blocking, barely surviving. Trying to chase now, but even with the tree grapple, it looks like Draconis, missing the tree grapple, the final auto attack, not going to be enough. The health potion to keep him alive, and he ends up getting away.
Number 2 is the worst play. Okay. Beacon and Haxorin actually. There's Haxorin as he's getting initiated on right there, but the best item in the game, Storm Spirit, actually does save him. He's getting dropping very, very low, so low, but what does he do? Oh, he pops his get out of jail free card. It's that symbol of rage, and just look at all the damage being done. Pretty much puts himself at full HP after that.
I'm sure you love watching this play, Trout.
Yeah, this is the worst play of. I don't know why this is number 2. It's a pretty horrible
Trout
play.
was on the other team, just to make that very clear of this play. Beacon and Haxford, you see just everything is going on. Somehow stays alive. Beacon on Witch Slayer saves him with that Storm Spirit in the stun. As this is his perspective to get a better idea. Look at him. He jumps in at the last second. Storm Spirit in the air. Storm Spirit OP. There's the stun. Barely keeps him alive. And, well, there's Draconis for you. Wow, those are some epic plays. Even using the Void Talisman on the Plague, that doesn't make any sense. Cyanide 03 on Magnus. Here's your number 1 play of the week, stunning it. Oh, the hat trick coming out with the Lava Touch. How about that? Not too often you see a right-click auto-attack Magnus pick up a hat trick, Joe.
I've never seen that, actually. There's one more version of that, and then they all just kind of melt. Get it? Lava.
You are so clever.
I gotcha.
Top 5 plays of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. So a lot of fun as always. And that's something you can expect every single week. So we'll have more information. I'm sorry. What am I doing? This. We'll have more information, following our social media and whatnot, as well as the HoNcast site, on how you can start submitting plays for that and how that's going to become a lot more active. And we're definitely going to get more and more out of it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. But Ralph, I think you kind of hinted at this earlier.
Yeah.
I want to learn something, Ralph.
What do you want to learn?
I want to learn about jungling. I'm getting this itch. I want to learn about jungling. How can you help me with jungling?
Well, jungling, guys, is very. I mean, you see it all the time, right? When you think of great junglers, you think of Chessie. You think of well, there's a lot of different junglers, but really comes to mind is Chessie.
You think of Chessie.
Yeah,
that's
and you can play a lot of different junglers very well. But we see it regardless in a lot of different games. It always seems like it's played. And a lot of people are asking me, like, how do you play a jungler? We're going to go into a little segment this week. We're going to try to do this weekly. Just giving you a heads up on how to jungle. This is going to be a lesson on jungling. And it's going to have a little bit of a political twist on it, being that today is the elections. So let's go ahead and jump into that, guys. Hey guys, it's Tralf. And this week's seal of approval
we're going to be talking a little bit about jungling. Of course, jungling right now in the metagame is so popular. You see it pretty much every game. If you've watched HoNcast, you'll see an Ophelia, you'll see a Tempest, you'll see a Parasite picked almost every game. We're going to be breaking down how a jungler is used effectively through farming, pushing, and ganking in a little bit more detail.
One of the reasons why jungling has become so popular is because jungling is essentially getting one of your supports lots of farm and experience. That being said, if you have a passive jungler like Tempest, it's important to maximize your farm in the jungle. One of the most basic ways you can do that is through stacking. Right here, we see some very standard stacking from Tempest, so that he's able to farm more than one creep camp, thus maximizing his farm. The time you pull a camp to stack it varies slightly, but generally, if you pull the camp right around the 53-second mark, it will allow the camp to be respawned. Most junglers benefit from this. There are some junglers, though, where stacking actually does hurt them, so it's important to keep that in mind. If you have a jungler with heavy pushing power, make sure to use that to your advantage early on. If your hero has creeps, use those creeps to push the lane as fast as possible. It's always a good idea to time your push so that it coincides with the gank. This is a good way to catch your opponents off guard, making the push much easier. Here we see Tempest setting up a push top lane. At the same time, the rest of his team is ganking the enemy's Suicide Warbeast. If he had pushed without a gank, the enemy team might have been able to respond. Taking towers is vital. Not only does a destroyed tower reduce the enemy's map control, it also provides a massive gold boost for your team. This is especially helpful for your supports, since they farm so slowly. Tempest, Keeper of the Forest, Wild Soul, Ophelia, and Warbeast are all great pushing junglers. I personally prefer Ophelia, because not only can she push really fast, she can gank equally as well. But it's important to be good with a variety of junglers that can push, since you might not always be able to play the one you had in mind. Being able to surprise your enemy with a gank from the jungle is always effective. Any jungle hero has the potential to gank, but the most effective are probably Parasite and Ophelia. This is because they actually use jungle creeps to their advantage. Parasite's especially effective because he jumps into a creep and can use its abilities in addition to his own. He also gains movement speed, making it much easier to gank, especially against suicide heroes like Bubbles, like Pharaoh, and like Kinesis. As a jungler, it's your responsibility to find the right times to gank. Don't wait for your teammates to call for a gank. Have good map awareness and find good opportunities yourself. Just because you're jungling in your own jungle doesn't mean you can't gank the opposite side of the map. It's all about finding the right opening on the easiest target. Because junglers naturally gain experience a lot faster than other supports, ganking with junglers like Ophelia and Parasite is much more effective than, say, ganking with heroes like Andromeda or Glacius. By the time a Glacius or Andromeda hits level 3, Parasite can be level 6 and burst someone down very quickly with his ultimate. Here's some do's and don'ts for jungling in general. Do utilize the jungle to maximize your farm as much as possible. A number of junglers can actually have the ability to farm 2 different camps at the same time. It's difficult to do, but if you can pull it off, you'll be at a huge advantage in farm. Do find opportunities to gank any lane regardless of where you are. If you start out in the enemy's jungle as Ophelia, but find it's much easier to gank for your short lane carry, then by all means do so. Don't get hung up on ganking the most important hero in the enemy's lineup. Instead, gank the heroes that are most susceptible in order to guarantee more farm on you and your allies. Do tank damage with your hero in order to preserve your own creeps. This will maximize the amount of time your creeps are alive doing damage, and will reduce the time spent killing camps. This is a prevalent strategy on heroes like Tempest, Warbeast, and Ophelia. Don't stack creep camps if you aren't able to kill them. There's nothing more annoying than having someone stack the hard camp for you early on, making it impossible to kill the camp, especially if you're Warbeast. And last but not least, remember, don't kill creeps inside their spawn area after 37 seconds. Creeps that die after 37 seconds will leave a corpse, blocking the next camp from spawning. This will cost you experience and farm. And this is an important note for all heroes, but especially important for Legionnaire. So those are some tricks and tips, guys, you can use to become a better jungler in this metagame. Through ganking your enemies when they're out of position, through farming, maximizing your farm, utilizing stacks, and of course through pushing to get those towers down to get that extra gold for your supports. You do those things, you'll earn my seal of approval.
Thank you, Trout. Thank you, Trout. I'm gonna go earn your seal of approval.
Yeah?
After this cast, Steve, and I'm gonna play some junglers now and use that great information that we learned. No, that was a lot of fun though, obviously. And well, there you go, guys. There's your chance to earn your Trout seal of approval. I'm so used to this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
In case you're wondering, guys, all those out there that aren't in America, it is Election Day today, so it's a big day.
It is.
So go out there and vote if you haven't. Go out there and vote if you haven't done it already.
Hey. I keep doing this. All right. So yeah, no, that was a lot of fun though. The trial seal of approval. It's going to be a fun feature, as you guys could tell that, but it's also going to be an educational one, and hopefully you guys at least took something from that. I know I did, and that's obviously the point of those, and expect many more of those to come in the future.
Well, we ran through a couple different things. We're going to continue, and I'll take feedback from you guys if like you have something that you really want me to talk about. I was going to talk about something a little bit more intricate, and that might have been only applicable to like the top 5 players, or the top 5% of players, but this is a little bit more overall. We wanted to start with that, and I hope you guys got something from that.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys did, and again, it's going to be a lot of fun to see how that advances on down the line. So plenty to learn about when it comes to the Heroes of New Earth, that's for sure, and Trelf is here to teach, after all. And he wants you to earn a seal of approval.
Yes.
Remember that. Everyone can. So there you go. That was fun right there. So we are getting near the end of the show, but as we said earlier, of course, with Trademark Esports and our team spotlight, them coming on and talking to Alex Jing right there, he gave us information on one of their sponsors, Razer, and actually giving us some prizes to give away. And as we promised you later on, we would go ahead and let you know how you could win those. Well, here's that part. So in case you do forget, what the prizes were, just to reiterate the 2 prizes, there was a mouse pad, the Razer Mega Soma here. Pretty kick-ass mouse pad. Would you play on that, Trail?
You've asked me this, but I don't play on a mouse pad. But if I did,
you totally would, right? Hey, it's free as well, so pops a raise right there for giving one of those away. And then, of course, there's a headset as well, the Megalodon, the Razer Megalodon. I always like these badass names that they're coming out with.
Yes.
The Razer Megalodon is a good product right there. And, again, it's free in the end. So there you go, some chances to win it. Now, how do you win this, you might say? Well, Trump, how do you win this?
Well, guys, we're going to be doing a caption contest on a photo. We'll show it to you in just a second. But what you have to do is after we show you this photo, you have to go to facebook.com/HoNcast and write in your caption. You can do it in a comment below, or you can be a little bit more creative and actually download the picture, then use your own caption and put it on there. Either way will work, but we'll post the picture. We'll choose the best 2, yes, the top two to give away those prizes. But here we go. Let's take a look at the picture that you're going to have to write a caption for. There we go. My caption would be, I don't know yet. I haven't thought of anything. But, Breaky, can you tell us about this day or what's going on?
I don't know. I don't know what was going on
This is at a grocery store, yes?
Sure, it was, yes. Oh, boy. I was not told about this. No, it's obviously, we're all about having fun here. So, for some reason, I jumped on one of those, whatever they're called, the scooters, the carts, and... just thought I'd give it a go. So there you go. I'm sure you guys will have plenty of fun with that. And well, I would say I'm looking forward to seeing all of these. I'm not. Let's be honest. No, it is going to be fun though to see what everyone can come up with. So there you go. As you said, go to facebook.com/HoNcast and go ahead and both like our HoNcast page as well as leave your caption of what you think. I don't believe it's posted just yet, so give us a couple of minutes here. By the end of after the end of the show, though, we'll go ahead and post it, and you'll have a chance to win one of those 2 prizes from Razer. So big shout out to Razer and Trademark. With that said, without them, we wouldn't have those prizes to give away. So, well, Trelf, I think that is taking us to near an end here.
Yep.
There's one thing, though, as far as, well, what is upcoming? What's upcoming here in Competitive Heroes of New Earth? Of course, this weekend, we're going to be coming at you starting on Saturday once again, the HoN Tour qualifiers, the round of 32. We don't know exactly what match we're going to be covering yet, but it will be a great match. We're going to start with the losers bracket, though, as always. That's going to be our first match. That will be at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, 1800 Central European Time. So, Trelf, you excited for that?
I am. I'm excited for that one, especially the winners bracket. As we've mentioned before, as we get closer and closer to the end of this qualifying tournament, we're going to have those better matchups. Yeah. And one to look at, again, we don't know for sure what we're going to cast, but Q Squad taking on, let me just double check their name one more time, it's Fortune Bakery.
Yeah.
And that should be probably the best match there in that winners bracket.
That's a good one.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's Saturday and that's Sunday, of course. There will be a round of 16 match as well as another loser. I mean, again, it's moving quickly. Plenty of content coming up. But But, you know, after this weekend, then the following week is actually when the qualifiers will be happening during the weekdays even. So, guys, I know, you know, it's been a case of, you know, we go to the weekends and during the week, but there's not much. Obviously, this week we had the show today.
Right.
You know, it's been kind of on and off, but like I said, I promise you, it's not like we've just been sitting back doing nothing. We were working behind the scenes to produce content like this for you guys to kind of get this stuff out here, and as well as eventually more and more match coverage once that actually starts happening. So I will say, man, it's you know, maybe been a little bit slow in a sense these last couple of weeks, but oh my God, is it going to start picking up, especially starting next week. Then of course there's DreamHack after that. There's more announcements to come that you guys will be excited about, I'm sure. And on top of all that, we're looking for your feedback, guys, here on HoNcast, especially for the show, of course. You know, what you thought, what you think we can do better, what improvements we can make, and what features even you'd want to maybe see be added to our show. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Ralph, any final words from you?
Just big thank you to, of course, everyone behind the scenes here, Killer Orange, and a big thank you to Brad, doing a lot of work behind the scenes and making this all possible. So
yeah,
big shout out to you guys.
Yeah, definitely behind the scenes. Wouldn't be possible without them, of course. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope you had a lot of fun. We sure did. Hopefully you could tell that it was entertaining, and, well, hopefully it was entertaining for you guys. And, well, there's plenty to go over as well. And, well, this is just the beginning. Every single Tuesday at the same exact time, 4 p.m. Eastern. That's 1 p.m. Pacific, 2200 Central European Time. HoN Tour Weekly will be happening weekly. So without further ado, have a good night, guys. We'll see you next week. Really? You're gonna